My animated comic series called The Changers has gone through many different incarnations throughout the years. And originally this video was going to be about me explaining the different eras of the Changers, going into the lore, into the characters, explaining how I got to the point where I am today, and what's in store for the future. I decided to do something a little bit different. To keep a long story short, there's a black sheep within the Changers continuities, the second generation, which I like to call the pilot. It was the first and only time I had attempted the Changers to be a fully animated series instead of just an animated comic dub like I am now. A fully animated series created by myself in the 8th grade. You can imagine how that turned out. Instead of just explaining to you what it's about, I decided it would be a good idea to get a couple friends and me to react to this pilot. And for every scene, I have to draw a specific screenshot and give context as to what's happening. Oh my god.
You should make the thumbnail like all three of us doing like a Wojak point at a fucking screenshot from the pilot.
Fucking 6-head X-King. Honestly, for all intents and purposes, I'm still really proud of how this came out because I was in like 8th grade, freshman year of high school when I finished it. I hate this. Okay, I'm gonna pause for a second. I'm gonna rant for a second. I hate the way that I made this because he kills like 2 people. And he's like, the last of them.
The last of them.
The last of who? A race of 2 fucking people? Like, what did you do? Also, I hate the way that I drew his chin here. It's like indented.
Don't you get it, guys? He got the rest of them.
Get my balls in your mouth. The point of this was not just to make fun of my old work, but to also see what it would look like if I had created the pilot today. So I decided to redraw certain screenshots in my current art style. So I'm going to give a little bit of context as to what's actually happening. In the world of the Changers, there's a sentient race of beings named Xlandrians, who usually have blue or green skin and like pale hair. And anyway, this guy, the ruler of the Xlandrian race, the X-King, is going around the planet and like committing mass genocide, you know, an average Tuesday. He kills like 2 people and he has this like super smug ass expression on his face. But the point of the scene was to establish the main villain of the series from the very get-go and really drive home to the viewer his nature. But I don't know, it just doesn't really sit right with me. Probably because in the modern version of the Changers, he's not really like a maniacal evil villain. He's kind of a broken trouble man. Oh well.
Get my balls in your mouth. We're so fucking stupid.
His hands are gigantic. He has like no thumbs. He has 6 fingers and like no thumbs. Hold on. No, he has 5. He just has like no thumb on the right hand.
X-cripple.
X-cripple.
So this scene takes place on X-King's ship after he casually commits mass genocide. The character that I'm drawing right now is named Risho, and he's basically X-King's royal attendant. In this version of the Changers, he was pretty subservient and he didn't really exude his own sense of personality, something that I am definitely not going to retain in the modern version. He was honestly just kind of like a whatever character, asking questions so that X-King can give exposition. Yeah, but I honestly thought of this as kind of a weird way to start the Changers because the series is about the team of teenage vigilantes, and we're starting with like kind of a space opera aliens type of thing. And that's not really like the core of the series, it's just kind of like a building block. But I did intentionally make this the first scene of the pilot because I wanted to establish the stakes early on, something that I still do to this day to an extent. I just feel like I could have handled it a bit better. Oh my god, I never noticed this. I actually have never noticed this, and I've watched this 1,000 times. What's happening to the back of his hair? Like, you see how it sticks up and there's like nothing?
Uh-huh.
Who the fuck was this guy's barber? I feel like a lot of the shots here could work if they were just drawn better. This sign has English in it on an alien planet because it's always hard to incorporate English onto non-English speaking like worlds in fiction.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
And Mom, I guess you were doing more of Dad's job and he was doing more of yours.
Loki kind of sexist, not gonna
I'm
lie.
glad it still worked out between you two.
Scene. So I wasn't even. The shit's just floating by itself.
Father's secret project
I actually really like this
everyone's
shot.
telling me about.
So this scene revolves around Ivy, who is X-King's like kid sister and one of the titular characters of the series, the Changers. But this scene takes place before she goes to Earth and, you know, meets them. She's like mourning her parents or whatever. And I mean, looking back, I understand what I was trying to do with the scene, but there is a lot of exposition. A lot of exposition that you don't really have a reason to care about because this is your first time seeing the character. But I do understand how cinematic I tried to be, and I was still in 8th grade, like entering high school. So, hey, what are you gonna do? Also, I'm trying my best to translate the designs that I had created before into my new current art style, and it was a lot harder than I initially thought because the way I draw now is way different. Especially you can tell in the eyes. I respect my old self for, you know, having our actual likenesses voice the characters, but dear God, we were so fucking bad at voice acting. Like during this time, I was going through puberty, so part 2, Cheyne sounds much different than part 3 Cheyne would, because my voice got deeper.
I love a good continuity error.
Yeah. The canonical reason is that after he got his powers, his balls dropped.
Please tone it down. The sound of your hands touching the controller is killing me.
Kidding me.
What are you even doing?
Jump scare.
Do realize you have 2 minutes
Jump
to
scare.
do that, right? You should have.
I'm about to spit out my monster. Okay, so this scene takes place on Earth in Jay's house. We see the 3 characters, Cheyne, Jay, and Zaire, getting ready for a party. Honestly, some pretty funny dialogue. Not really because it's supposed to be. I just find it really cringe. But as you can see, I'm drawing Zaire, and he used to have this really like Goku, spiky Super Saiyan hair that I thought looked the coolest at the time. It doesn't really fit his character. I realized that later on, but I tried my best to translate it to my current style. This lighting is also really weird because it's just so saturated with green that you can barely see the line art of the character in the original image, I mean. So I tried to find a color balance that worked, and through trial and error, I think I succeeded. I don't know, if I heard that sound in the middle of the forest, I would book it, honestly.
Hey guys.
No, me too.
It sounds like
what
the
heck is
fucking
that?
Crazy Bus theme song. Oh my God, his face is so fat. I gotta go back.
When the terrestrial's extra.
Look at the size of his head. His head looks like a goddamn peanut.
Zaire, why are you coming?
I really don't mess with aliens, dude. The black guy
hate
always
this
gets
shot.
killed.
Even from
Black
even
No! No!
why? I hate this shot so much. Even from back then, I hated this shot, but I had to keep it in for time constraints.
writing.
With aliens, dude. The black guy
He's
always
tweaking.
gets killed.
I'm black too, genius.
I
In this scene, Cheyne, Jay, and Zaire decide to go to the forest and trek around because they're bored. And while they're there, they come across an alien artifact and they're debating on what to do about it. The pilot does end on a cliffhanger. It ends right before they get their powers, so absolutely brilliant how I decided to end the production right when things would start getting interesting. But the in real life reason is because I wasn't satisfied with where the direction was going. And looking back, this pilot, I guess, this mini series is cringy in all the right ways. And I do get that it's hard to understand what's happening without full context. But in a way, watching me and my friends watch it blind kind of brings a new level of humor to it. At least I think so.
Bro's bursting a blood vessel. he's having a brain blast. Bro's thinking a bit too hard.
Doesn't even look like a regular vein, it looks like a fucking tumor.
All that brain power had to go into something.